This
I don't think we-
conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so motion to resume our work session at 6:22.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Awesome.
There's Joe.
All right, Joe's in. All right. Hey, Joe.
Hi.
We'll just wait for Tina. Or she
I
may-
don't know if she's not.
No, she'll come in for a few minutes. It's like 12:22 there, so stop yawning. You're still in your clothes, you're not in your PJs yet,
In a minute.
huh? All right, so we called the session to order, so let's go through the list. I'm wondering if we should we go out of order since Rich is here and have him
Yeah, sure.
give the
Let him go
update?
first.
Is anybody mind with that? All right, so we're gonna go out of order a little bit. We'll go to number 3. We have the California Beach / Pond Park Retention Basin update from Rich. So thanks for being here.
Okay, do you guys have any camera set up or anything like that? Or
No,
no
just
focal
us.
point here, just you need to hear it though, right?
Mhm.
So I'll come.
Do you need Tina this? You need
Oh my God, I get to see Tina. I see that.
Tina and Joe Prokop.
Hello, Joe.
Hi,
So
Rich.
I'm just doing a recap, nothing to hand out at this meeting. You recall that back in 2020, before the pandemic, it was actually late 2019, we did a presentation. We put some ideas forward on ways that we might want to replace the pond in its current configuration. And we threw those ideas around the meeting, and it was everyone got a copy. Some of you were here, some of you are not here yet. And no one really went too far because the pandemic hit and no one cared. So it kind of went away. And during the pandemic, I was caught out of town. So the current mayor at that time kind of shelved it. And then I believe a resident put a complaint in and said that the pond hadn't been maintained, and that because it wasn't maintained,
That's wrong.
because it wasn't maintained, that it wasn't draining and it wasn't functioning properly. It was causing vectors, mosquitoes, and rats. And there's been a lot of talk about rats and mosquitoes down there. So, I got a call from, at that time, Chris was mayor, and he said, hey, I want to do something here. We also have some money. Let's do something. I got this complaint, and I think the complaint came from the planning department, a planning member, and I think we should do something. And I said, well, we really need to do something grand, like what I gave you plans for back in pre-pandemic time. And I said, yeah, but I have the complaint in, and I think we should act on it. So I said, all right, well, we can certainly do something and certainly make it work better, but it's really functioning properly. The sedimentation and everything and the infiltration rate is fine. And at that time, you'll recall it had plants living in it, trees, etc. So the plants were absorbing a lot of the water that would go in there on a day-to-day basis, because that's what plants do, they absorb water. So the decision was made, well, let's clean it out. And then I thought, while we're cleaning it out, we can finally get a good look about how it was built, because maybe if we can figure out how it was built, we can do something to make it work better. So while we had it, after we had it cleaned out, we found a couple of things. We found out that there were sprinklers in it, which makes no sense. So there was water going in about 600 gallons a day in the summer. Okay, from 8 to 10 sprinkler heads. And at that time, the new mayor was in office, and she kind of inherited this. So we kind of did the emergency work. And I believe that all the sprinkler heads were removed, the pipes were cut off, and the water was bypassed from going in. And then we made a decision to try to make it work better, to basically air clean, what we call sparge out the pipe that runs under it, that absorbs the water in. When the plants aren't there, the water goes down and it goes into a pipe, and then it goes from the pipe into a chamber at the end, and then out into the open water. That's the way it's supposed to work. So while we had the chance, we figured we'd take a chance to clean that out. So we did, we cleaned that out. And at that time it had standing water, and after we cleaned it the next day, it had gone down. It didn't go down fully, but it went down significantly, but we knew the sprinklers were still going in. So at one point during the fall, I believe it was drying out almost. I think we're pretty close to the water table there, and the water table's elevated. We had a lot of rain. So we're really seeing groundwater. We're not really seeing rainwater so much in there. So while we were there doing the clean out, We also realized that the construction had broken on the unit. And actually what was happening too was we were getting salt water coming back through into the unit. And that's because the pipe was low and the water would come up and the water would enter into that chamber that I mentioned. That's at the end of the pond. And then it would end up flowing back into the pond itself. So at super tight events. So that kind of wasn't working. So I think at this point, we started reaching out to DEC and seeing if we could get some kind of emergency relief to maybe replace it. We looked at doing dry wells and a variety of different techniques, and we were a little surprised by the veracity of the DEC's response. They were very not interested in having us do anything to alter that pond. I was a little surprised by that, so we opted instead to just leave it alone because there was a lot of permitting needed and it would take probably years to get the permits through. And then as I did independent research on my own, realized that the hottest thing in the DEC world is a retention pond, what's called a bioretention pond, which is what that is.
Really?
And there's just no way we're going to move them off a bioretention pond because everyone's building them and it's like the go-to answer for everything. So rather than waste time, money, energy fighting it, I think the thought was, and the last recommendation I had was, if we can't beat it, let's work with it. So the ideas were floated at replanting it. We have a list of approved species that can be planted in there. We did have them replanted like 4 years ago by someone who went for the Eagle Scout, and that was great. They put new plants in it. We had some very large trees in it. Okay, and I think that's both good and bad because there's not a lot of trees that actually grow in that unless they're junk trees, and they were kind of junk trees or locusts and things like that that don't really have any aesthetic value to them. So I think what we should do is come up with a plan to put new lower brush in there, okay, that avoids having too many birds. You have birds, the birds sit in the tree, the birds poop. It goes in the water, you get foul water, and then you have other problems. The circle of life can be grueling. So I think if we keep a lower plant species in there, and then we actually start thinking about maintaining what plants are in there. So I think a lot of times what happens, we put things in, and then it overgrows, and then there's no quote gardening going on in there. There's no maintenance to make sure that the plants we want are being choked out by the plants we don't want. So the thought was, to come in with, and my recommendation to the board is to come in with a set of plans that we have species that are appropriate to the permit that get replanted, and then instead of just letting it go all free flowing, that we actually make it part of the maintenance contract for that park to kind of go in and do a little bit of grooming on those plants, maybe cut them back when it's time to be cut back, things that'll help them grow. And then the thought was, as a recommendation, that maybe instead of a wooden fence that goes around the entire thing, or the wooden fence that you see, that we could put boulders around the outside, large boulders around the outside to make it more aesthetically pleasing and more park-like. And then allow there to be an access point, maybe a gate on one side, so that workers can get in there, pull out the bottles, pull out the junk that gets in there and do maintenance.
That's a great idea.
And I think that would be I think it could have a fence too, but put rocks in front of it so it doesn't look so horrible.
Sure.
Who does maintenance? Oh, landscaping company.
Let the landscaping company do some maintenance.
So you don't envision it ever being dry then, right? There's always going to be some water in there?
When there's enough plants, it does go dry.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it looks dry, but it's not. It's got leaves in it, and it just, it's not moving too much. I think one of the big things about the rats, if we can go back to the rat situation, because nobody wants rats.
Sure.
It's a pretty clear answer why we have rats. There's a fruit tree on the seaward side of that pond. So you have a tree and you have fruit, and it puts out tremendous amounts of berries. The berries fall into the water, they fall into the grass, and of course you get
You have a food source.
a food source.
And a
So
water source.
I think it's food, it's water. I mean, we're one step away from being a resort town. So I think what we can do is consider doing something about that
Why not?
tree. Let's get rid of that tree. Let's put non-fruit bearing trees in that are attracting good wildlife like birds and butterflies versus rats and mosquitoes.
How much will it cost to replant it?
It's not gonna be that much. I mean, these are not high-priced plants. They're plants that absorb. The concept is the plants you pick are plants that absorb pollutants like nitrates and metals, so that they're not getting into the water table, not getting into that pond, and then discharging directly back out that pipe back into the harbor. So we're trying to collect some of the pollution and using the biota to do that. So that's the concept.
DEC, nobody will help subsidize it, right? This is all on us?
Well, I sent, I don't know if, I think I sent you the grant money that just became available.
I sent it only.
Okay, there's lots of grant money that just
So I
suddenly
did
dropped.
go, there was a couple of conferences for this. So I think we can do it, we can start applying in January and the deadline ends in September, the end of September, so a rolling basis. So the faster we get it in, the better, right? You can, ask for between $5,000 and $10,000.
Oh, that's
Right.
good.
So we can even build in the maintenance.
Yeah.
For a year or 5 years, whatever we think.
Wow.
So I think this could be really good because it's the Long Island Sound grant project, and
Yeah.
if it's not there, it's going back into the sound, and that's what they're trying to avoid.
Oh,
So
this is exactly what that's.
It's
money is for.
it's
That's
a
why I sent
perfect
it out.
project,
Yeah.
actually. So I think we could do it, we could do it quickly.
Wow.
We could probably get it paid for.
And I think you're probably talking about a $10,000
Right.
short fix.
Right.
I mean, the stones, the rocks,
But that might be
Yeah,
the
but maybe we
one,
get more
Okay.
money and then we can.
Yeah,
and
well,
then
I-
the Comoy grant.
But I think, we have an obligation to maintain that,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we've now kind of let it run willy-nilly without any filtration, which is fine. I mean, nothing's getting in there, but, we want to make it work better, and then we want to have it so that right now, when it stops working, it just blows over the side directly into the water.
Yeah.
And that's really the only thing you can do with it, but we can have it happen better and in a less destructive way. So right now it just goes out on the grass and then it cuts deep channels and then wipes out that whole new grassy bank that we put in. So I think we can direct that water better with stones so it eats up some of the energy when it overflows.
You said, Rich, that I missed the part about the sprinklers. When you cleaned the pipe, we got rid of the sprinklers?
We got rid of the sprinklers.
Okay.
So when we replant, we may need to have some water in them, but we can water them from we can just adjust the existing sprinklers to include that area.
Okay.
They were actually in the
The
pond. So,
Well, I guess it was hard to
We're
see.
creating our own problem.
Because there was
Yeah,
so much stuff
yeah,
in there.
so Resort Town, you
Hmm.
can give them fresh water.
So to get this proposal in, is this something that you would provide to us, Rich? Like a proposal on,
I can give you the
Boulder House
plants
and plants and all that, or-
yeah, so I can give you the plants and I think we can work with the contractor who did the cleanup inside that pond. I think it might make sense, maybe look at his contract, maybe it makes sense somehow for him to finish that contract by planting. I don't know what the requirements are. And I would say like everything, if it's over $2,000, it's gotta go to bid, so. But you already have an existing contract from that contractor, so you may be able to tack it on as a
Hmm.
change order effectively.
Awesome.
yeah, send that to us. That'd be awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parrish.
Thanks, Rich. More comfy, Mayor?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so I don't know if you guys know, but Ron joined us, so thanks for being there, Ron.
I think,
Thanks,
Jo-
Gina, for the info.
I think Joe has a hard out. Am I right, Joe? So I think we
Yeah,
should go.
6:45.
All right,
Okay,
so I
let's
think
go.
we need to hit the,
Open items for the board to review at village attorney. Okay.
well, I think let's go over do we have any other things, Joe, for the village?
The local law we're working on, if
Yeah.
you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I think we should talk about that
The
now.
rental code? Okay.
So I've been working with the mayor on drafting the short-term rental law. And I think it's close to a point where it could be submitted to the board for review. Basically,
Actually, they've seen it. I've circulated it for
Okay.
review. I circulated. You guys all got a copy of it like last week, right?
We did, and it's more than just the short-term rental law, it's the new rental law, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
well, it revises some of the other language in our law, in that section of the code.
Can we discuss it in
chapter of the code, I'm
January,
sorry.
because I haven't had time to really read it and go through it.
What was that?
We add it to the agenda for January for the board to discuss and come up with the final version.
Can we bat it around via email?
Sure.
Can we kind
But
of
it's
put,
only, you got 2 weeks. I don't know how much is gonna get done in 2 weeks with Christmas and everything.
that's true. That's
Yeah,
fine.
Our next meeting's like January 5th, 3 weeks
Oh,
from today.
right. Okay, so that's fine if you want to do that.
So, I gotta-
Did
All right, so-
anybody who did see it have any thoughts?
Um,
I thought it looked.
Yeah,
I thought it looked good.
Yeah, I
really
agree.
did. I thought it was really good.
I mean, a couple of, the way you structured the fines were really
Yeah.
good.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I didn't have any problems
So
with
then maybe
it.
we
It's
can,
like-
let's just do it by email then. If anyone has any comments.
The mayor put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, no, I thought it was very, very thoughtful, very excited. I love the
Okay.
part about, so not only, they have to get the registration as well with the permit and,
I like that too. I like that too.
I don't know, I couldn't find too many flaws in it. But let me just understand the process then. So if we take the next couple of weeks to go back and forth on email, make any revisions we want, then in January, we have to what? Make a motion to have a public hearing in February for this law?
Yep.
And then in February,
Yes.
right after the public hearing, at that time, we can approve it, or we have to go another month into March?
Yeah, we can approve it unless we have any comments that we.
I
If there's no changes, you could approve it in February. You just can't make any changes. The other thing you could do, you could have a public hearing in January and then adopt it in February if there's changes, that's another thing. But
Is it
let's go
soon?
to,
It's 3 weeks away.
No.
yeah, let's vote in January to have a public hearing in February.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think it's time to move this along.
I'm hearing different folks from the board
Okay.
here. They're saying they want to do a public hearing in January.
No, I wanna.
we can't do a public hearing until we all,
We can't.
I thought we needed a public hearing only if there's changes to it.
No, there's changes. Those are the
we
changes.
have to
that we
have a
need.
public
So I would only have a public hearing at the point where the board, there's a consensus of the board as to the version, if it's more,
Okay,
Yes, that's what I meant. Yeah.
okay, so we'll review it January
January,
and
set the
then
public hearing.
set
and
the
we can
public
approve it in
hearing
February.
for February.
Mhm, okay.
Yeah,
thank you.
You got that, Kelly? Good. All right, and then, Joe, are there any other open items that we need to discuss?
I think that was it. Court's been actually pretty busy. We've had a number of defendants each month. There is the other thing that we need to do, I'm sorry, I may have missed, I'm sure that I missed putting this on the agenda, but there's a requirement every year that all the officials take 4 hours of training in planning. And I know that many of you took the short-term rental training, which will help, but I think there's a lot of people on the planning board and the zoning board that may not have taken the training, so taken any training. So what you can do at the end of the year is the trustees can vote to adopt a waiver of the training for anybody that hasn't taken it. So if you could please put on the agenda tonight a resolution approving a waiver of the 4-hour training requirement for any board member that has not taken it.
board member of any board.
It's the ZBA, the planning, and the trustees.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, great. All right,
All
right. Moving right along. So let's see. Sinkhole repairs. So what I have here, we have Maybach is pending repaving.
Yeah,
Otherwise, all the other work is complete.
Keith said it would be done by next week, but I'll keep on top of him to make sure it gets done.
All right. Next, National Grid gas line road repair.
They did all that.
Yep. So the
It
notes I
looks
have,
good, too.
Looks good. They
it's
did a good job.
completed yesterday. They did an awesome job. They even not only paved it, but they sealed it. I think they did a great job.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Moving right along. The 2021-2022 financial audit. So Ron, you're going to give us a summary, I understand, and yep.
Yes, I hate to say this, but I've been trying to reach Chris or Jennifer for the past few days because I had an issue with the audit. Last year, for 2020 to 21, the balance they showed for the fund balance amount for the snow reserve had been reduced. Why, I don't know. I let it pass last year and it was supposed to be corrected this year. This year it got worse. They zeroed out the snow reserve fund balance account. So I've been trying to reach them to ask why they did that. And they've been tied up, maybe training, I'm not sure. All accountants are in training this time of year. So.
What was the balance, Ron, and where did it get transferred to?
Pardon me?
What was the reserve balance and where did it get transferred to?
Well, the reserve balance for snow was supposed to
Right.
be $35,096, I believe.
Okay,
And it was, last year, it was reduced to some 20,000, which is not the worst thing because it's in free. It then becomes unassigned. So it's a free, but it was not right. And I think the residents want to have that as a reserve, and the board has in the past assigned to snow.
right. So I'm trying to understand. So help me understand. So we have $55,000 in the budget this year, and then we had a $35,000 reserve. You're
Correct.
saying the reserve got transferred to where, or you don't know?
Well, they made it unassigned.
Just made it unassigned. Okay, gotcha.
It's not the worst thing in the world,
Right,
but
right.
it's
Okay.
not right.
Yep.
So I'm reluctant to let it pass again this year because I let it pass last year and they didn't straighten it out. So can't give a final answer until I talk to them, and they're going to call me next week.
So John,
We're not
So
gonna
at this
approve,
point,
we're not
we're
gonna
not-
approve the audit then until you
No.
fix that, Ron?
Yeah, we would not approve the audit at this time.
Okay.
What were you saying, Tina? You were breaking up a little bit.
take the resolution off about approving the audit. Dee just said it while I was saying.
Okay.
She do it.
Anything else, Ron?
Not about that, except that I know, all I can say is they may have had a reason for doing it, but I didn't know what the reason was. And I've checked with Natalie, and I think Cindy's been overloaded with other things. So I don't think they talked to Cindy. They didn't speak to Natalie about it, and they certainly didn't speak to me about it. So
Okay. Gotcha. All right, thanks. Joe, I know you said you have to leave at what, 6:45?
Yes, please.
All right, so it's 6:44, so I assume you're going to jump off before we get to the next topic. So thanks for joining us.
If that's okay with you, please. And do you know the date of the January meeting? Could it be the second Thursday?
It's January 5th. So the
Okay.
two next meetings we have, January 5th and February 2nd. They're both the first Thursdays of the month. And then I think thereafter, when we get back into March, we'll go to the second Thursday of the
Okay.
month.
That's
We had
that's great. That's great. As long as I know. I'm sorry to bother you.
Okay, so we'll see you in 3 weeks. Happy holidays.
I hope everybody has a great holiday. Thank you. And a
You
safe
too.
trip back.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
All right, now last topic. Man, Tina, I've never seen you so relaxed. You look awesome. All right, so the last one is the Village Center exhibit showcase Poquat. So I know we put an update on, you posted something on Facebook recently,
Yeah, I think we're having the
February 4th or something?
February 4th, we're having we're not, the Poquak Community Association is sponsoring a reception that evening. I don't have a specific time right now. It's a great opportunity for residents to scan digital files or bring in archives. So I believe I put out times and dates. I haven't obviously.
Yes.
You did.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got a
so,
lot of positive responses.
Yeah.
so.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
great. It's gonna be great.
so
And then the stuff that you already have, are you gonna, like, that I sent you over, are you gonna send that over? Or we have to
I don't-
resubmit that?
stuff that I've gathered that I'll send over, a lot
Okay.
of which they already have. We're gonna do, we're gonna also send more recent stuff because in the past, it's always been the past history, but I'm gonna do something, we do a lot of events in our village as a community, the
Yeah.
cardboard regatta, all of that.
Group photo of the
Try to
board.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
We should have a group photo of the board.
Yeah.
We could, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
Deputy clerk.
But you didn't do that really fast.
when I get back, I will circulate another message calling. I'm also, they may be giving me a scanner at my house because there's people who don't want to go there and leave their stuff. So I might get a scanner. They might give me a scanner at my house. And then if there's people who want to do it, they can come to my house and wait on my porch and I'll scan it for them by appointment.
Nice.
Just so we
Awesome.
so that we can get the stuff.
Great. All right.
If they're nice, I'll make them a Nespresso.
Awesome. All right, thanks. Let's see, anything else, any other topics or things we didn't cover that's not on the agenda that we have to? No? Okay, so motion to adjourn the work session at 6:47 PM.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All right. I'm
Well, now we gotta go to the,
Okay.
then we gotta go to the
you guys.
regular board meeting.
Guys
All right, you're out of here?
confused?
Yes, ma'am.
You're breaking up.
We miss you. See you
All
Sunday during
See
the
you
week.
later.
Bye.
Okay.
All right, so, so now we, call the regular.
Motion, the board meeting.
We can
Motion.
resolution.
Motion to call the, board meeting to order at 6:48.
Pledge allegiance.
Second, anybody second? Do you have a second?
No, you don't
No?
second that.
No, okay, all right, let's stand and do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, let's see.
Announcement.
Couple announcements. The annual resident charity collection for Welcome Friends Soup Kitchen of Port Chef is running now through December 22nd. Donations can be dropped off at Village Hall or my house at 51 Washington Street.
Is that food, John?
Food and clothing, I posted
Used
specifically. We'll take some used clothing. Yeah, we'll take it. We're not too picky. So many people have been dropping stuff off at our house. It's been awesome. So really happy with it.
same church as Rose?
It's not a church at all. It's just Welcome Friends. We serve out of church parking lots, but it's not affiliated with any church.
Gotcha.
All right, the PCA will be sponsoring an evening at Santa, an evening with Santa on December 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. in Village Hall. Kids of all ages are welcome to join us. Village Hall hours will be as follows through the end of the year. Mondays 9 to 12 and 1 to 3. Tuesdays 9 to 12. Wednesdays 9 to 12 and 1 to 3. And Thursdays 9 to 12. And I don't know if you guys all know this, but Joe's back in town.
Yeah.
He's
My
helping us
idea.
out.
It was my idea.
Oh, awesome.
Great idea.
When
day is Joe working?
He's working the
Mondays and
afternoons,
Wednesdays.
Mondays and Wednesdays from 1 to 3. So, yeah, Tina didn't mention that. She said it was all her idea, but all right.
It's okay.
Listen, I was,
She's
on
al-
call.
she's
Oh,
allowed
we're
to,
still recording it. Sorry.
she's allowed to take all the credit. I'm fine with that.
That's good. All right, the Port Jeff Village Center will be featuring an exhibit on Polkwat in early 2023. I think we said it was going to be February 4th.
Mhm.
Residents wishing to contribute memorabilia that will be digitized and returned to them in person are encouraged to contact Village Hall. All right, reports.
Dave, you here? And let's
All right.
go. Public safety.
Public safety report.
Oh, the other thing is, Dave, isn't parking suspended for Christmas and New Year's week?
Might be your fault.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? You tell us.
From 11:10 to 12:15, we had 4 incident reports, 2 parking warnings, 5 house checks, 11 special events, and we're waiting on the village attorney for language regarding the Jeep auction.
Okay.
That's it.
And is parking suspended for Christmas week and New
Yeah.
Year's week like we've always done? Okay.
Are we gonna announce that on Facebook or?
We'll put it up.
It always has been.
Yeah, it's put on the website or something.
So you can park anywhere you want?
Well, for those 2 weeks.
Just not in the
You can park on the
lots.
street without getting a ticket. for those 2
Oh.
weeks.
We
Oh, in
don't-
the
we've
streets?
been given tickets, yeah.
Yeah, there's no
Yes.
tickets.
Oh, I thought it was just in the parking lots
It's
without.
like,
No.
I just had a bunch of calls today that people having events tonight. I mean, they're just calling up saying
Yeah.
well, you can't go around.
You can't
People,
without, yeah.
it's holiday season.
Right, exactly. That's
No.
like a hump.
Okay, so parking in the streets and in
Since I
parking lots.
started here,
It's
it's
always
always
been like that. Yeah, we don't wanna
for
Yeah.
each 2 weeks.
So what are the exact dates?
It doesn't matter, it's
From
holiday
now
time.
So now to the end of the year.
Yeah, that's
New
basically
Year's.
after the end of the year.
Okay.
The new
Yeah,
year.
the first week in January.
Okay. And then you said you have to do something to get the old Jeep auctioned at the
Yeah,
$6,000 rate we
I
talked
guess,
about?
ProCop has to speak with Frank on the wording of how they're gonna list it. I
Okay.
guess.
Okay. And then what about the new Jeep? Any update on the lights
That's all
and
I
the?
have for that. I don't have any.
Okay. It's been so long. We've had that new car. It's still not ready, huh?
I'll leave him a little note.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
have any idea.
Okay. Awesome.
Treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report. Ron?
Yes, as I mentioned in my notes to the board, the village still, it's remaining in a solid position if we stick to budget for the rest of the year. And the problem is not going to be so much expenditures. It's going to be what happens with the mortgage tax and the building permits, that those numbers could really drop off a cliff with interest rates being what they are. So that's my biggest concern. I can't predict what's going to happen with that. But right now, as it stands, if we stayed on budget, we would be about $10,000 on the plus side at year end. So it's possible that even with a drop off in those two numbers, we could be at a break even, but it's not going to be, drastic as long as we stick to the rest of the numbers.
So we haven't seen a tremendous drop off yet in mortgage tax or building permits the last couple
Building
months,
permit-
or?
Were diminished this most recent month, below budget. They were about half.
Okay.
But the mortgage tax comes quarterly, and we haven't seen a drop off in that yet.
Yeah, that's good. Any questions for Ron?
Nope.
All right. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Court report, Jacqueline?
So for the month of November, 2 cases were opened, 1 case was closed, took in $100. Total to date is $3,610.
Nice.
Wow, big bucks.
Mhm.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, 3,000?
3610.
610.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, so moving on, no public hearings, no public comments, we have no public. Moving on to resolutions.
Mhm.
All right, so resolution 12-2022-1, resolution adopting December 15th, 2022 agenda as printed. So moved. All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 12-2022-2, resolution accepting the monthly reports from December 15th, 2022. So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
resolution adopting the minutes from November 10th, 2022, work session of the Board of Trustees. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 12-2022-4, resolution adopting the minutes from November 10th, 2022, business session of the Board of Trustees. So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 12-2022-5, resolution adopting the minutes from November 18th, 2022, special session of the Board of Trustees. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 12-2022-6, resolution to schedule the Village of Hopewell Board of Trustees work session meeting beginning at 6 PM. We're not doing January
No.
12th, right?
No.
January 5th,
Yeah.
with the business meeting to follow immediately. So moved.
second,
All in favor?
I'm sorry.
Next one,
Wait,
not
John,
doing-
the next one should be,
Yeah, we're gonna
the
add
next one should be resolution 12-2022-07. Resolution approving that the 4-hour training for the Board of Trustees, the zoning board and the planning board be waived for 2022. So moved.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, you got that, Kelly?
All right, read the checks.
I can text it to you. Yep, checks, Kelly?
Okay, resolution approving all checks for the voucher, let's see. Do I read the credit cards or just?
No,
No,
we'll
just
just
emails.
summarize it.
Okay, let's see, 5 unpaid bills or,
Yeah, it was says unpaid bills.
okay, 5 unpaid bills, Construction Technologies, 11/10/22, 195.15. Landscaping, Gasper La Rosa, 1,933.33 cents. PSEG Long Island,
Oh,
593.60. PSEG 1415. West Bank, 167.12. And these are the, okay, Arbor Vista Tree Care, 1,400. And Earthworm, 78.50 for Tinker Bluff, Chestnut Sinkhole, Maybeck Drive Sinkhole Repair. On Investors Bank, the bond payment, 55,250. So credit cards, Home Depot credit card, 219.45.
I'm sorry, can we go back?
California Park-
What was the, that Investors Bank bill of $56,000?
That's the bond payment.
For the call, for the Jeep?
That's either
For
for
the
the
Jeep
Jeep
and the,
block, or isn't there
And-
one?
and for the pier.
For the dock,
Yeah.
that's the
For the
interest
dock,
payment.
yeah.
That's the
it's
last
the one
payment.
for the dock.
So that's not the Jeep, that's, yeah, 'cause
No.
the Jeep was 50 even, so, okay.
That's the
And
dock.
we have 2 more years left on the dock?
No, that's not.
No,
No, it's not.
Another 5 years? What,
No, it's
Ron?
not. We have 2 more.
2 more
more.
payments.
Yeah, so 2 more years.
Oh, no, we don't.
Yes,
2 more for 50,000.
Oh.
Right, Ron?
yes.
Okay. Okay, sorry, Kelly.
no, that's okay. And the last one, Home Depot credit card, California Park fence rails, blacktop, for a total of 219.45. And that's all of them.
No.
Right? Because then they're
Is that it?
itemized on the next page.
Okay. Perfect. All right, good. All right, so, What?
Never mind, go ahead.
so again, so then resolution 12-2022-08, resolution approving all checks per the voucher report. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn at 6:59 PM.
Second.
All in favor?
Did we do all the?
Done.
I feel like we did more stuff
What?
here. Yeah, I think bills now.
Did I miss some?
Did you miss that?
Oh, did we do them all?
I thought they were itemized more on the next pages after I read like, let's see.
Repeats like December 23rd to January 4th.
Okay.
Or December
Should I stop
22nd.
recording since we ended the meeting?
December 22nd?
Yeah, make it December 22nd.